What's the Torah stance on energy healers?
These are extrasensory powers, right? Some people have sensitivities that are beyond the five senses. Some of them have it in their hands, some have it in their eyes. And it allows people to feel others in a way that they cannot feel themselves, and it allows them to somehow heal them. I don't understand how these processes work, but I believe that they're real. I don't think that they're imaginary. I think that they're real. In other words, these are koiches that the Eibishter created. These are part of the Eibishter's world. Just like Eibishter made natural awareness that most people have, that all people have, which is the five senses: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. And then, of course, also our intelligence and our emotions. Some people have extra senses, extrasensory perception. So to say that it isn't real, I think, is simplistic and foolish. And of course, the question becomes, how should a Yid relate to those things? Now, when a person goes to a doctor, right, is there a requirement that the doctor should believe in God? Are you going to say that the quality of the doctor's healing is affected by the righteousness of the doctor? So according to halacha, no. Why not? Because if it happen, if God gave permission to a doctor to heal, you believe that the doctor is healing with the power of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the doctor could be the most arrogant. The Gemara says, doctors are very arrogant. The Gemara says at the end of Masechet Kedushin, I believe, that doctors are not necessarily virtuous people. They're full of themselves. They feel like God. They can heal people. They feel like they're very powerful, and so on. It doesn't matter, right? Now you're dealing with another kind of a healer. And this other kind of healer is really also using powers that the Eibishter put in the world, because it's not unique. There's many people have these sensory awarenesses, but in a way they are not part of the natural world because most human beings don't have them. So the question becomes, when you're talking about healing that has a spiritual component, is there a different rule? Is it now true that it's not enough that a doctor has a certain power, and that you believe that his power to heal comes from the Eibishter for it to be considered legit, Yiddish, kosher as you put it? Or is it necessary for the healer to be in touch with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Moreover, even if you're going to say that this spiritual healer needs to be in touch with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how humble, how bottle, how in touch with HaKadosh Baruch Hu need they be? Is it enough that they acknowledge that they have these powers from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but when they perform their healing, there is a self-centricity? Or is it necessary that they be so humble in the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that sort of their own sense of what they're doing is that the Eibishter is functioning through them? And I don't know the answer to that question. I really don't know the answer to that question. I understand the question, because since you're dealing with something, now a person who goes to a doctor doesn't understand medicine either. But he understands that anybody can understand it. If he would study it, he would understand it. If he would read about it, he would know it. When you're talking about extrasensory things, this has to do with a special chush that not everybody has and everybody can have. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't have that chush, you're trusting that other person. And is this kind of healing different than conventional healing, that it becomes important for that person to be so subservient to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that it's not chas v'shalom separating the healed from the Eibishter? Or to say it in different words, in the areas of healing which have to do with spirituality, can you speak of Tumah and Tara, Kedusha and Klipa? And again, I don't know the answer to the question. But I don't think the answer is a simple yes. I don't think it's just, it doesn't make a difference. Just like you go to a doctor, the doctor heals, doesn't matter if the doctor is a believer or not a believer, you believe that the doctor is healing. When it comes to these kinds of powers, if the person who's administering these healings himself doesn't believe in the Eibishter, then the chayes of the healing is separate from the idea of Achdus Hashem. This is what I understand. And of course, you also have to add the additional component. And the additional component is the idea of Tamim Tiyam Avaya Lekecha. that in our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we don't want to be smart. We don't want to be informed. We want to be plain and simple. And where is the pasuk Tamim Ti Im Avaya Lakecha brought? The pasuk Tamim Ti Im Avaya Lakecha is brought when it discusses the difference between a Navi and all other kinds of chayzim, all kinds of psychics and visionaries, and that the goyim don't have neviim like Yidden do. Navi Akim Lochem Mikerev Achecha Kamoini, Moshe Rabbeinu says, and people who don't have neviim, don't have seers that are connected to the Eibishter with total hisbatlos, go to these alternative seers. And the pasuk says, Tamim Tiyam Hashem L'Kacha. Yid is not allowed to go to such seers. A Yid has to trust the Eibishter betwimos and go only to a real Navi. Because a real Navi means a person who's totally subservient to Hashem, and he doesn't say, I see, like a psychic does. He says, Koy Amar Hashem. The Eibishter is speaking through the Navi. So when it comes to, so to speak, seeing the future, as you mentioned in your question, there is the additional idea of Tamam Tihim Hashem Alekach. So I'm not answering the question. I'm just really offering some more food for thought about what the question is. And I'm going to repeat and divide it into two parts. In terms of knowing the future, here you're getting into the area of Tamam Tihim Hashem Alekach. In terms of healing, the question is, the Eibishter gave the shus to doctors to heal. In other words, the Eibishter gave us a mitzvah to go to a doctor to heal. It doesn't forget. You go to the better doctor rather than the worst doctor, even if the worst doctor is more of a believer. Does that apply to these kinds of healings or not? And I believe and I understand that there is a inyan of tum and tahara. There is dark spiritual powers as there are light spiritual powers.